Hi, Orange Girl here with another scrapbooking process video for you. I am working with Flair from A Flair for Buttons today. I am working on days 5 and 6 of my December daily, and I will have all the information of products and all that kind of stuff linked below. I am on day 5. I went to bed kind of early with my daughter, and so I took a picture of that. I was super tired, and I explained that in the journaling. So I have that as my photo. And on day 6, I just made a huge photo that's the full 4.25 by 8.25 inches. And I'm using that as the full page. I went ahead and I typed up my journaling ahead of time. And so at this point, I decided to use strips. So I'm cutting apart my journaling, and I feel like I'm probably going to add it below my photo. I apologize for the video quality right now. It does get better, I promise. I had something on my lens. So anyway, I thought since this this spread, actually both days had something sort of to do with sloths, I would go ahead and use these pieces of flair that are found in the A Flair for Buttons Etsy store. And I think it's called Sloth Love Flair Set, and I will link it below. The page 6 is all about the wrapping paper that I found this year, and this pattern paper that I'm using right now has sloths on it. I used the same paper in my cover page, my title page or whatever for this December daily, and so I'm using some more of that. It's by Simple Stories, and I'm going to use my manual die cutting machine here, and I'm going to go ahead and make a tag. I've used a lot of tags in my December daily so far. Although you will be watching this video after Christmas, Christmas is over, but I have not completed my album. I am further than day 6, but I'm hoping that over the next 3 or 4 days that I will get it completed or really close to completed by the new year. So we'll see. Anyway, so I cut that tag out, and then I decided that I would tuck the journaling behind my photo, kind of in between day 6 and day 7. And you'll see how I do that here in a second. So I'm going to add my journaling that I typed up ahead of time right here. So now, like, the base of my layout is finished. This came together super, super fast because I knew I wanted to use the Sloth Flair, and I didn't like the way this looked here, so I'm going to add a piece of red, and it really makes the red on the other page pop. Anyway, I really like the way the Sloth Flair worked. Even though this book is all about the month of December and things leading up to Christmas, you wouldn't think that you would use Sloth Flair in a layout about Christmas, but this was kind of a slothy Christmas for me, and I say that because I have always liked sloths, but this year there are sloths everywhere, and so other people must like them now as well, and so there have been lots of gifts that I've gotten that have to do with sloths. I found sloth wrapping paper and was super excited, and that's what this page is about. So I went ahead and I added that little piece of red. There, my video is better now. And then I just did some messy stitching back and forth in a zigzag stitch, and that's where my journaling is going to go. Then on the other side off camera, I also stitched that red paper down. That is the layer behind this photo here. So let me tell you a little bit more about day 5. So day 5, I'm a teacher by day. That's my normal job, and it takes a lot of time, and December is particularly tiring. The time between Thanksgiving and Christmas seems to be, it's like you're trying to get everything ready at home, and then you're also trying to get things ready for kids at school and teach them at the same time, and you're just running 50 million different ways. And so my journaling says December, especially for teachers, is particularly tiring. Tonight, this meant that I fell asleep with B at 8:30. Sometimes you just have to play catch up. And so I thought the little piece of flair of the sloth sleeping on the cloud went perfectly on this page. Originally, I was thinking I was just going to use a piece of that flair on the day 6 because I had the flair wrapping paper, but I thought, oh geez, this worked out nice because I can actually add flair on both pages because being asleep at 8:30 is rather slothish, right? So I decided to use that. I almost used the one that said I love naps, but this wasn't really a nap. So I'm using some of the scraps. I wanted to add a little bit more red to this page, and so I'm trying to figure out how to do that at this point. I found this washi that's on my desk. I've used it before in this book, and I think I'm not sure where it comes from, to be honest. It came from, I think, a December something, maybe last year. So at one point I decided I thought I might put some of this journaling above the photo and then some of it below the photo because I didn't think it was all going to fit. And then I decided I wanted to move that little piece of Sloth Flair down so it was kind of overlapping the washi to kind of give it a little home down there so it wasn't just out in the middle of nowhere. And so since I did that, that made it so there was just enough room for the journaling. So that worked out perfectly. So I went ahead and glued all that down so it was easy to take care of the extra washi there. And then I decided to put a little strip of red up at the top too. And that's just a little scrap piece of that sloth paper and the red polka dot paper there. So that's all that is. And my page 5 is almost done. When I use flair and even when I don't use flair, I often use some tangled thread under the flair or in other places on the page just to kind of give another pop of color. And so I wanted to add a little bit more red at the bottom and then a little bit more red over on the right as well. So the way I'm attacking December daily this year is a lot of the days I am going ahead and doing one page for one day instead of a 2-page spread. And so far that has been much more manageable for me. I started out doing a couple 2-page spreads and it was rather unintentional because my intention the whole time was to do one page for each day. But it just worked out. And I imagine that there will be, well, I know that there will be a couple other days that I will end up doing a 2-page spread for one day. But so even though these are different days, I've tried to kind of tie them together color-wise since you're going to be looking at them at the same time. And so it worked out really nice that I was able to use that flair on both sides. So the flair that I'm using on day 6 has a little heart, and it's kind of a aqua colored heart, kind of aqua blue. There's blue on the left side and there's blue on the right side, and so I thought that would be a great piece of flair to use because it kind of highlights that color, makes it pop out a little bit. But he looked kind of lonely there with with that, and so I do something here in a little bit to fix that. But also I felt like my dates looked lonely, and so I was going to look for some pieces of ephemera maybe to put beside them. And then right here in a second, you'll see me put there. I thought, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to use my date stamp. And I like the way this turned out. So I just used some plain white cardstock and my date stamp. And I just date stamped each. I just used it on the white cardstock. And then I'm just cutting it out and gluing it down. And it just adds a little element there. I end up actually, I think I end up sewing it down eventually here, but I can't remember if I do that on camera or off. So this came together pretty quickly, and one of the things that I realized is when I treat it as if it's kind of a 2-page spread, but it's all kind of about the same thing and not each page by itself, it goes a little quicker because then it's easy for me to make like the triangle, like right there, I just put 3 red pieces to kind of make a visual triangle. But this is where I decided, I really need to use that blue, and I need to add some more blue to this. So I add that one down there, but it looks kind of lonely. And I add another one up here. And then I decided that if I changed the oh good grief, here it is right here, the twine. If I change the twine to that same color and then add a little bit of paper over on the right side, it just kind of makes the color pop off, and I really like that. It highlights that flair piece, I feel like, a little bit more too. So I just found some scraps of paper and put it underneath the picture. And now I have the pop-up at the top. I have a few dots, enamel dots, and I have the heart on the sloth. And I feel like that all together kind of makes it, unifies the two pages, I would guess, would be a good word. And then it also makes that color kind of pop off the page a little bit. So I like how that turned out. So I think all I have left to do here is, oh yeah, I decided to put an enamel dot up there on that tag. So what I'm going to do here, my idea was if I put some, so far it's working, so if I put some glue right there where I wanted it to go down, I didn't want it to go down in between the page all the way, I only wanted it to go down that far, and I put a little glue there, it stops it. So I just used my tape runner and zipped it across the middle there. I kind of measured using the tag, and then it works perfectly. So, spoiler alert, I end up using the other side of that tag for day 7. So if you come back soon, very soon, you will see day 7 and how I used it. So here, this is where I am just using my white thread, and I'm just zipping through the date stamps and making it just, it adds just a little bit of texture, and I really like how it looks. It just adds a little something to the page. And there I am finished. So the close-ups are going to come up here. First you're going to see the day 5 and what that looks like a little bit closer, and then day 6 with the full photo. And then here come the pieces of flair. Aren't they cute? They're so cute. I love them. Anyway, so there's my close-up of my journaling, and here comes the full page spread. Thanks a lot for stopping by. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas, and I will see you again soon.